Welcome to the Car Guys. This week, the mighty Rolls-Royce Cullinan.
We're going to take you through everything about this car, all of the details. We're going to drive it, take you in and out.
This is our first time with the Cullinan. We've heard lots about it, not least in terms of its looks, but now's the time for us to go over it fully. So here it is, Jason. This is the controversial front of the Rolls-Royce Cullinan.
You know, when you drive it, you imagine that the grille comes all the way up here and it's kind of a lot bigger than it is, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, I remember the front being a hell of a lot more gaudy and slab-sided than it seems to be, because you've got this sculpted area here, just on the side, curving round to the front. It's not actually as monstrous as I remember it.
So a lot of design cues come over from the Phantom. The light, shape of the lights, these grills. This is the lovely sculpt there. 22-inch alloys on this car, obviously with the ubiquitous Rolls-Royce non-spinning disc. No ceramics on this though, despite its size and its weight, relying on vented steel discs instead.
The Cullinan is bristling with technology, not least of all the lights. Now, obviously you've got super bright LED type headlights with lasers. That combined with the night vision means that as you're driving along, if something like an animal walks out in front of you, the car will sense that it's an animal and it will actually fire lasers at the animal to get it out of the way quicker. How cool is that?
I don't think it needed suicide doors, but it is part of the classic design language. Open the door, umbrella, ding! This car is enormous. It is at least 75 miles long. I think it's got its own postcode. You think on a normal SUV that this bit would be the boot, but actually because there's so much space inside, that's actually the rear seat right there. Moving round to the back, more design cues brought over from the Phantom. This shape here and the rear lights. Let's have a look in the boot. What's this? Surely not another Spikes Car Radio t-shirt. Surely not the Plan Z. Amazing. All the best stuff kept in the boots of Rolls-Royces. Right, this car has got the recreation module. Look at that. Your own little place to come and sit. Nice little tray table here for your champers. These are customizable. You can have anything you want in one of these. The boot space actually isn't, it's not brilliant, but it's not too bad. It's, you know, you get a couple of fairly decent sized suitcases in there, I think.
But what's nice about it is that you can just clip this out and pull it out, and so you can swap them around.
So you could swap them around. Single button that does all of the jobs. Like most things on this car, there's always a button that closes something or opens something else. You approach your new Cullinan, you want to get in the back. They've added a nice little handle on the back of these seats to give you a helping hand as you get in. Sit back, but you can't reach the door. Can't reach the door, but luckily they give you a nice little button, so it just closes itself. And then we're encased in this wonderful air-conditioned space. Show them the legroom.
Look at that.
How amazing is that?
At least now we know why there's so little room in the boot.
That's why the rear seats look like they're sitting in the boot, because essentially they are in the boot.
Yeah. The downside of the boot, of course, is that the wheel arches encroach, and if you have one of those relaxation leisure module things, then it's even less. Now we have to bear in mind, obviously, it is another world of bonkers to be spending £250,000 basic, £350 minimum, maybe up to £500,000 on a big SUV. That is crazy, and we are fully aware of that. So we are looking at this car within the confines of the crazy billionaire world that the customers of this car most surely are. But in here, this is spectacular, isn't it? It's like first class in Emirates.
It is like first class in Emirates, with all of the accoutrements that you would expect. Apart from, I don't believe there's any champagne in this centre console.
No.
Which is a bit annoying.
There's a mistake. There's a terrible mistake.
Terrible mistake.
I mean, I have to say, I was born to sit in the back of a Cullinan like this. I mean, and this is lovely, isn't it?
There's nothing in here. When you sit in the back of some cars, you're like, oh, well, I haven't got much headroom, or my shoulders are touching, or my knees are a bit close, or I can't stretch out. None of that in here. No. Literally nothing.
This is ludicrous.
Show the ladies and gentlemen the chromed air conditioning vents.
My pleasure. Look at
that. Chromed air conditioning, chromed seat runners. the finish and the depth of these carpets. Look, close up on, look, you could literally lose your hand in there.
Let's have a look at this entertainment system.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, cool. So you're driving along and you want to watch the film, push the button on the side, down comes your picnic table, and you've got your full entertainment system. That's good, isn't it? Look at the size of that screen. And it's covered, so when the little kiddywinks are in the back kicking with their muddy boots all over the back of your lovely calves leather, they don't destroy your screens.
That's a quality picnic table as well.
That is a quality picnic table. Self-closed doors.
Here we are then, the Rolls-Royce Cullinan.
Cullinan.
This is us. They've allowed us to oiks into this car.
Amazing.
How does that happen? Let's start the engine. Let's see just how quiet this car is. So foot on the brakes, push button start, ready?
Yep.
Can you hear that? Can you hear the engine?
It's barely perceptible.
I'm revving.
Are you revving it?
I'm revving the engine right now. That's revving. So this is it, the first few feet in the new, relatively new Cullinan. They only started delivering these at the end of 2018, so they're still pretty rare to see on the road. Listen to it. Listen to how quiet.
Is this even quieter than the Phantom?
I think it is, yeah. It's certainly the quietest SUV that you will ever find. I mean, immediately you've got just a super cushioned ride. This is like riding on an enormous duck-down duvet.
Well, they call it the magic carpet ride, don't they? This car has been developed. It's got two cameras at the top, just above the rear view mirror, and they're scanning the road continuously, and then it sets up the suspension to perceived nuances in the tarmac.
Shut up, it doesn't
Seriously,
do that.
Yeah, it does. It will do that up to 62 miles an hour.
And then what happens?
And then it goes, no, you're going too fast, come else.
You're on your own, mate.
You're on your own, mate.
Off you go, be lucky. So we have the same imperious look out across the Spirit of Ecstasy that you get in the Phantom Coupe.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, the best seat in the house. Does it get any better view from a car than that? Look at it.
I don't think it does.
Polished, beautiful, enormous bonnet. Silver lady, although you can of course have her in gold or glass if you want as well.
Years of heritage stretching back through the eons of time.
You can feel it, can't you?
You can feel it, you can.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you what I can also feel. Feeling a little bit queasy.
What, already?
Well, the ride is...
It's beautiful.
It's a bit...
It's beautiful. This is like as soft as it gets.
I'm not suggesting it's not, but this is a big weighty car and we're sitting quite high up. It does feel a little bit like a boat.
I mean, if you're going to take a 2.7 ton vehicle, prop it up on its haunches on big old wheels like this one's got.
22-inch alloys all round.
Yeah, you're gonna get a sensation of boatage.
Which actually, if you own one of these, you probably have a boat.
The dials are lovely. They're kind of digital, but they're classic digital. Sort of like the Phantom Coupe, but just digital, but the same look.
They haven't overdone it with lots of different, different types of leather or plastics, or it's consistent all the way through.
Oh.
Can you hear that?
Can you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? All you people that had a go at us for daring to criticise a Bentley for its plastics and cheap materials.
Can you hear that?
Look at that. That's what you want.
That's exactly what you want. That's what you're paying for.
If you are paying a basic price of £264,000, which is what this car is, basic, you expect that kind of luxury. I think you're right though. The key to tasteful interiors and luxurious tasteful interiors,
simplicity.
Yeah,
don't overdo it.
Yeah, don't over-gild the lily.
Exactly.
We have open-pored walnut, which is very tactile.
Oh, it's lovely.
It's like an Eames lounge chair, an ottoman. Okay, that's what it is. Oh yeah, IKEA. I'm proper classy, me. There's your screen. BMW sourced unit, obviously. Here's your iDrivey thing. It does work incredibly well.
Yeah, it's BMW.
Look at it. Look at that. Lovely, very clear, high definition. These are all the controls. I'm not a big fan of these little jelly tots here. This is where it comes down a little bit, I think.
They do have an off-road button though, which you just push it, presumably.
It just has one button that says, would you like to go off-road? And you just press it,
and you go, yes,
and you go off-road. You don't go, please select icy conditions or slight sense of shale.
Yes.
You know, you don't have to sort of tell it exactly what surface you're on. It just goes, I'll sort it out.
I mean, let's be honest, most of the off-roading that these things are going to do is grass.
Yes.
And fairly flat, level grass.
Little bit of mud. But, as you will see from all of that testing that they did with this car, you know, Rolls-Royce is at pains to prove that this can deliver the goods. You know, it has the underpinnings and the technology to go through the Sahara or the jungle, no problem whatsoever. They will not do that, but they could. In terms of rivals of this car, we have the, dare we say its name, the
Bentley Betangi, as I like to refer to it, a bejewelled codpiece of a car.
And the Porsche Cayenne.
That's not a rival in this market.
Well, it's a luxury brand that went to SUV. Now we have the Lamborghini Urus.
But I think the reason why Rolls-Royce owners wanted this car was because they wouldn't be seen dead in a Bentayga.
That's absolutely true. I wouldn't be seen dead in a Bentayga.
No, Rolls-Royce owners would normally buy a Range Rover if they wanted to do shooting, fishing, hunting.
But as you said, the downside now of the Range Rover is still a fantastic car, but the downside is...
it's owned by every wannabe gangster and builder between here and the Isle of Dogs.
This, I think, was clearly created for two reasons. Number one, to open up a new segment for Rolls-Royce and lots of cash, which they can then spend hopefully on new models and development. And also because customers demanded it. They saw other things going on and they said, we want our luxury mark to produce something that we can use. Yeah, because I love the fact that Rolls-Royce is now moving younger, attracting younger consumers. So
Black Series.
Exactly. It's cool, it's hip, it's high quality, young people look good in them. The average age of a Rolls-Royce owner has gone down from mid-60s to late 30s.
Mid-60s?
Yeah, that's thanks to the Wraith and it's thanks to the Ghost and the Black Badge.
New money?
Yeah, a lot of new money, a lot of tech money, a lot of young money, a lot of YouTube money.
A lot of YouTube money, not our YouTube money.
But when I saw this to me didn't fit that new Rolls-Royce ethos, because this is not a young person's car.
No, definitely not.
However, now I've driven it, it's not too bad to be driven by a 40-year-old person. I'm missing the big picture here, because actually this car is aimed and also opens up for Rolls-Royce the female market.
Oh, hello.
And the family market.
Really?
Which you never really got before. You would have grown-up families would have Rolls-Royces, but you wouldn't have young families. I think it opens up that whole segment to Rolls-Royce, which they've not had, which is, you know, which is families and
the family car
and the wives and girlfriends.
You don't buy a Rolls-Royce, you commission a Rolls-Royce.
Oh, that's good.
You know, and that says everything you need to know about where Rolls-Royce are pitching themselves in this marketplace. You don't buy a piece of art, you commission a piece of art.
Yeah. And in fact, people commission a piece of art to go into their Rolls-Royce Cullinan.
Exactly.
There are people with artwork in their Cullinans worth more than the Cullinan.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's incredible.
It's a different world.
So really, talking about the purchase price is probably a bit crass, because the purchase price doesn't really matter.
No two Cullinans are the same. And how about this? Test the braking. Oh, that's 2.7 tons.
Pulling up
quite well, actually.
Quite well, yeah. So this is the same 6.7 litre V12 engine that's in your Phantom Coupe.
Yeah, except it's twin turbocharged.
Twin turbocharged for the emissions, onwards.
And the torque. And the
torque.
Sheer power. 850 Newton meters.
I mean, that's a big old chunk of torque.
But interestingly, it can only pull 2.6 tons.
Oh, really?
Which seems like a lot, because let's face it, most horse carriages must be less than that.
Yeah, but it can pull less than its own weight.
Yeah, and the Range Rover can pull 3.5 tons.
Yeah.
So I think there's an upgrade to come on that.
The chassis on this is a new platform developed specifically for the Cullinan, which is then going to be used for the Ghost and the Phantom going forward. It's an all aluminium. Do you know why they've called it the Cullinan?
It's something to do with diamonds.
It is something to do with diamonds. The Cullinan is the largest uncut diamond ever found.
Oh.
3,100 carats.
I mean, that's a lot, isn't it? That's a lot of carats.
So this car's got a sunroof as well.
It does. It's flipping enormous. Look at the acreage of it.
That is amazing. Oh yeah, we're
still going.
Completely different. Look how much light there is in here now.
I love the way that it's got little echoes of other Phantoms and things. So you've still got this lovely sort of bluey
glass,
Art Deco-y glass in the sort of door handles and around here. Just, you know exactly what sort of vehicle you're in, what the heritage is, where it's come from. It's beautiful. What do you think of the clock?
I don't like the clock.
You can get 3 different types though, so if you didn't like that one, you can have another one. There's an awful lot on this steering wheel. Look, awful lot of stuff going on here, which I'm not a big fan of. In the
cruise control-y bits, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got lovely action on it, but I think it's a bit of a trifle unnecessary. It's a shame that these buttons here, although they're quite nice, but they're not glass like they are in the Phantom, and I do like my glass buttons.
So what don't you like about it?
I think what I don't like the most is how they did the obvious. We're Rolls-Royce, we're going to do an SUV, an off-roader, so we're going to take a big boxy shape and we're going to shove the standard Rolls-Royce grille on the front of it. I understand why they did that, and let's face it, if someone said to you, Rolls-Royce is doing an off-roader, what's it going to look like? You'd say, well, it'll have a big grille on the front. I mean, that's obviously what they're going to do, but part of me wished that they'd taken the opportunity to modernise that grille, still have a nice imposing grille, still have the Spirit of Ecstasy, but just smooth it out a little bit, just make it a little less slab-sided. It's this massive tombstone stuck on the front. People have obviously rather unkindly, I think, likened it to a London black cab. They've likened it to the Canavero from The Simpsons. A little harsh, I think, there.
It doesn't photograph well, this car.
It's enormous, it's very boxy.
Yeah, but enormous isn't a thing. A Hilux Amazon is bigger than this.
Yeah, but it doesn't have any nice angles to it, except perhaps the rear haunches.
I feel very relaxed in here.
Well, God, if you didn't feel relaxed in here, I mean, I don't know what they'd be doing.
I mean, we could be halfway to Austria by now, and you wouldn't. I probably wouldn't feel any different.
There's a bit of twisty bit. Look, here's some twisties. Look, oh, it's a big old Hector, this, isn't it? Look at the size of this thing.
Dear.
Yeah, this is a big vehicle.
She's a big old lump, isn't she?
And when you hustle it in the corners, it doesn't matter what technology you've got there, what air suspension is holding this thing together, you are going to feel that float.
Feel it, don't you?
So this is it. Look at you. Look at you. Look how well you've done in life.
Do you think that's what this is about?
Yes.
You do?
I think this is an ultimate status symbol. It's for people who buy into the history, buy into the brand itself, and who also want to show that they've done pretty well in life. Thank you very much.
I'm not sure that if I was a multi-millionaire that I would have one. It's a bit too shouty for me.
Well, that's the question. This is the pinnacle of SUV luxury and refinement and image from one of the greatest brands in the world.
Yeah.
You're also not going to see many of these around. They do not make many of these a year, nor will they.
Do you know what we haven't done?
What's that?
Beanage.
Oh, we haven't done the beanage. Right, here we go then.
So
prepare the beanage, call up some speed.
I mean, we gathered some speed. There was a
poke.
It's got a bit of poke.
I don't ever want to do that again. I have to say, it did seem unseemly. It was like if you find one of those big school teacher that lifts up her skirts and does the 100 metres for the sports day.
Oh,
it's a bit like that. You don't really ever want to see that again.
No, you don't. But yeah, it's got some go, isn't it?
It's got some go, but I just
it is
don't see the point
unseemly.
of that. Yeah.
Do you think they're going to do a black badge version of this?
I think they will. Yes.
Do you think that would be more up our respective alleys?
I think it would. I think because, like you said, if stuff's blacked out, you won't notice it as much. We're talking, you know, just over £250,000 plus options. You know, you're going to sneeze past 300, 340, 350,000 for a car.
Yeah.
It will be unique to you. It will be lovely. It will depreciate. But the problem I have is that as beautiful as it is, and it is, a Range Rover offers 8/10 of the experience and the ride level and the interior and the quality for a quarter of the price.
It does. It does. And I don't disagree with that argument.
4 Range Rovers.
4 Range Rovers for this. However, it does also go back to what we were saying. Everybody's got a bloody Range Rover.
Yeah.
If you want to separate yourself from the herd, you really only have one choice, unless you like wearing bejeweled codpieces.
Which we don't.
Which we don't.
Despite what you might think on the internet. I am loving the car, but I would find it hard to justify moving away from a Range Rover. The difference is, the ride is slightly better in this.
Yeah.
So the ride and the steering are slightly better.
Yeah.
Obviously the interior is a cut above, but it's not 4 times better.
No.
And that's the difference. You can have most of this for 80 to 90,000 quid in a Range Rover.
What happens if money wasn't a concern at all ever? Would you still struggle? Because I think I would still struggle.
If money was absolutely no object, I think a black badge one of these. The thing that I do know for sure is that if you have a Cullinan or you have one coming, you will not be disappointed.
Oh God, no.
And you can look at Range Rover drivers and know that you have the best car in class by a margin.
It actually makes you drive slowly because it's such a nice experience.
Yeah, but that's the Rolls-Royce effect.
It is.
It's a different calibre of driving. When you get in a Rolls, you don't have to worry about the outside world.
No, you don't.
Other people just don't matter. And this, I think, amplifies that because you've also got the height.
Apart from the way it looks, I'm struggling to find much wrong with it as a vehicle.
I can see why customers would demand it of Rolls-Royce, and it would have been mad for them to have ignored this sector,
of course,
financially and because they do listen to their customers.
They will sell more of these, I think, than anything else.
It's already sold out for as long as you can as you can think. Maybe you'll get one in a couple of years if you ordered one. Yeah. It's already been a sales success, and I totally can see why.
Yeah, you can take this places that you would never take your Ghost, your Wraith, or your Phantom.
True. So, good Rolls-Royce Cullinan.
The way it drives, quietness, the waftability, the refinement,
luxury, the woods,
the
metal,
every materials, the whole,
the steering lightness,
steering gentle lightness,
the amount of space in the back. So what's bad? The front. The size of the front grille, the overall way that dominates is not great.
But I can't actually see that from here.
That's true. The boot space is surprisingly small. There's some little bits of plasticky switches that I'm not happy about, particularly on the doors and the steering wheel.
The low speed wallow is can be a bit nauseating because of it feels quite top heavy. Once you're on the move, it kind of cancels it a bit.
I think I must have my sea legs because I didn't notice it as much.
In summary, we're happy.
It's a magnificent achievement. It truly is the greatest luxury SUV that you can buy
in the world.
So Jason, we have driven this car all around the lanes and the beautiful countryside of Essex. It's been ours for the day. What's our final thoughts on the Rolls-Royce Cullinan?
Well, I was sceptical at the beginning of the day. I was unsure of my feelings halfway through the day, but now I really, really like it.
You sort of come around,
I really have come around because I have this issue with it wanting to be an SUV, but actually it's a Rolls-Royce at the same time.
From my point of view, obviously as a Phantom owner, I mean, I think it's a stunning piece of equipment. It's ridiculously refined. I've absolutely loved driving it. My big issue still overall would be you could buy 4 Range Rovers for the price of a well-spec one of these. But I have to say, in terms of the exterior, which is probably the thing that most people blather on about in the internet, I think it's a real grower. In the flesh, it looks much better than pictures. That's a fact.
It certainly grows on you. It's certainly grown on me throughout the day.
And the front, when you see the sort of sculpts either side, it really sort of works within the confines of being a Rolls-Royce. I mean, if someone said Rolls-Royce is going to make an SUV, this is sort of exactly what you would expect it to be. There's no doubting this is a stunning machine, isn't it?
It's an amazing machine.
I mean, the technology, the craftsmanship, that quality. I love the little touches brought through from the Phantom. I love the historical touches. I love the quality of the materials. I mean, there's no shirking here.
No, I love the way it drives. I mean, it's such a relaxing place to be. The steering's nice and light, the pedals are all light, you drive slower, you don't care what's going on around the world.
So yeah, Rolls-Royce Cullinan, special machine, and much better than I think anyone could have hoped.
Yeah, agreed.
Thanks for watching this episode on the Rolls-Royce Cullinan.
We really hope you enjoyed it. We've had a brilliant day here today. Don't forget to leave comments because we read every one. Ding the notification bell for when we have another episode uploaded, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.